Hello, welcome to You Know Something. I'm Dena.
And I'm DiAnna.
Hello, DiAnna.
Hey, kiddo. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to all our listeners. This is your first time listening. Welcome. We learn a little, laugh a little. We're good friends. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be your best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to cover three topics, 3 and 30, we call it. We may not get to 30 if we have a lot to say about one of them or two of them, or we may squeeze in a little more. You just never know. We're going to keep you on your toes. And then after 30 minutes, poof, we're going to disappear like Cinderella's coach. And you'll have
Till
to
the
deal.
next
Go ahead.
episode.
Yeah, that's right. You have to live without us till next week. So we do have 2 episodes a week. So check it out if you're new. If you're a regular listener, thank you for coming back and continuing to support us.
Amen.
Yeah, we appreciate it. In the South, we say appreciate. We appreciate
Appreciate it.
it. So, Diana, this is kind of a personal question, which is nothing new for us. I'm always asking you things. So, you can just say, I prefer not to answer. Let's just discuss the topic. You can lie if you want.
Well, I'm not going to lie. You should know that I'm pretty open. I pretty much have an opinion about everything. So you're not going to shake my world.
Okay, well, I'm glad. This is an article from boarddaddy.com, and the title is 12 Behaviors Common in Adults Who Grew Up Without Emotional Support. As much emotional support as they needed, I guess you could say. Everybody has some emotional support. So whether it was your parents who may have dropped the ball or just been misguided and didn't know better, or your teachers or any guardian you may have had, your
Yeah.
friends in college, high school, whatever, you just weren't provided with enough emotional support. And I don't really know how you know if you weren't or you were, or even exactly what that would mean. Um, but we're going to find out. But what, just off the top, after hearing that question, do you feel like your parents were good emotional supports?
Absolutely. I had fantastic parents. I was so blessed.
That's great. That's great. So they were, I just feel like, I'm a little older than you, so I feel like my parents' generation were very stoic, like, suck it up and go. Uh, you're not bleeding, get up and keep going, which I can appreciate that too. Maybe not touchy-feely, maybe
Right.
not verbal about love
Understand.
like some people are. So, and you may ask yourself, is that what's wrong with me? Did I not give them enough emotional support? We're going to find out by seeing if we have any of these conditions as mature adults. Lack of emotional support can have profound and long-lasting impact on a child's development and overall all well-being. Unlike physical abuse, which manifests visible injuries, emotional abuse and the lack of emotional support can be the result of habitual behaviors that contribute to the destruction of a child's feelings of self-worth and security. If you're able to cry and don't get reprimanded for crying over something, you're consoled uh,
Right.
when you do feel sad. You're not, and especially like for boys, I think if you're not made to feel, you know, not masculine if you cry.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. So emotional abuse can take a variety of forms, ranging from constant criticism. And I think sometimes criticism comes from a place of trying to help. Like, you need to do that faster. You didn't do that well. You can do better in your grades. You can do, rather than coddling you, expecting more from you.
Sure. That's called parenting.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that can be confused. It could be too much, I guess. Never praising at all, maybe. It's
Again, we
hard to be
have
a
to,
parent.
yeah, we have to find the balance to everything. The kids need structure in order to recognize when you step outside of the boundaries, there's going to be consequences for that.
Right.
But at the same time, you're doing that, as we talked about in our last episode, you are acting in love, meaning you are doing what is right for the child, whether they like you or not at the moment. they may have to recognize a little bit later that you were being a good parent that gave firm instructions that had consequences, but you were also there emotionally supporting them. They knew why they were in trouble. And so it's a action that hopefully gets a reaction from the child that, okay, they're not mad at me. That's not why they're giving me a whipping. When you recognize that that's how you are to raise the child in order that his ways further in life are manifested by what you have grounded him and rooted him in when he was a child.
Right. I mean, parenting, I never did it, never even came close. So, whew, I don't know how you do it. So I respect however you got it done. If they're still alive today, you did a good job. So, but the difference between criticizing, this is constant criticism, belittling, mocking, silencing a child, or setting them up with unrealistic expectations. So you could even say, I know you can get straight A's, or, you don't need to do this for a living. I expect you to do this. I expect you to get a master's degree or whatever. It can be harmful too. In many
Mm-hmm.
cases, when this form of abuse is present, the child can be overprotected, denied normal social interactions like those of their peers. And if you're protected from that, you're protected from experiences such as bullying that you might need, to just learn to function in the world. So you can overprotect too.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that's considered part of emotional. I don't even like to use the word abuse, what they're saying here, but
That's almost smothering.
yeah, true, true, true. Often emotional abuse is present along with other forms of abuse. It can occur alone, or it could just be neglect or manipulation, or simply withholding love and support. So let's see what some of the common symptoms of that as an adult. I'm going to skip all these statistics for time's sake, but I'll include a link to this article that you can look for yourself. Okay, you may have attachment issues. During childhood, the development of the brain goes through crucial stages, and traumatic experiences can have an impact on the process. Studies comparing the brain scans of people who went through trauma during their childhood and those who didn't, and identified lasting differences in those with childhood trauma and emotional abuse. Such differences are often seen in the parts of the brain that regulate impulse control, stress response, and managing emotions. This makes people with childhood trauma more vulnerable to mental health challenges. So, just about any mental health disorder, attachment issues, trust issues, paranoia, anxiety can come from that lack of emotional support. So, if you have any of those, blame it on your parents. I hate to blame things on parents, but as your brain's developing, you may not have gotten the emotional support you need if you have any of those issues. Number two, mental health issues like the anxiety and the depression can be a big factor. I can't communicate well. I don't know how to express my feelings. I'm so used to having to hold them inside because I wasn't allowed to share how I felt. This person even gets nauseous when they start to feel that way.
Mhm.
Large scale research found that individuals who have experienced trauma during childhood are more likely to experience struggles in life like PTSD, depression, and anxiety. Have you ever experienced any of those?
I have experienced depression, uh, basically over my weight a while back. Yeah. And I spoke about that on one of our podcasts. And it is such a real subject that people are so different. You can have a mom that is very loving and, touches the child and they feel protected. And then you can have a father who is more stern, uh, does a good job, but doesn't have that emotional key or, or he can't express it to his son or daughter. And that's where I feel like a lot of times the confusion comes in from the child on even if you have one parent doing it, but then one not.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine the double whammy when neither one of your parents recognize love language or how to comfort you when you're feeling scared or anxious. And yes, I have experienced both anxiety and depression. They are real, and you do have to get a handle on it.
Yeah,
And I have to tell you, my number one supporter is Jesus Christ.
absolutely. Amen.
He's on my team and in my corner 24/7.
That's right. Everybody's got the sky daddy, as non-believers like to call him. You've got a father who knows exactly what to do. So that is the bottom line of this. This says, emotional neglect is often manifest in your adulthood as alcohol and drug abuse problems later on.
Mhm. You are trying to dull the pain.
Exactly. Exactly. You could be over apologetic. I become apologetic over everything. If someone doesn't text back, I believe they're upset with me and I'll apologize. If I ask for something and annoy them, I'll apologize. Everything becomes a situation where I feel like I'm to blame. That can come from the lack of emotional support. That's not my quote. I used to be that way. I'm not that way anymore. But um, somebody would run into me and I would say, I'm sorry. Or, somebody would knock something out of my hand by accident. I'm sorry. Being too apologetic, even for things that are out of your control, could be a sign of emotional abuse in childhood. This is because these adults grew up in a household where they were constantly blamed and criticized, making them feel like everything had to be their fault, even when it wasn't. So they coped by offering constant apologies. Are you an apologizer?
I was, and Dan helped correct me in that. He said, "Would you please stop apologizing for everything? It's not your fault." And I said, "It's really just I guess, a habit more than anything." But no, I no longer do that, and I'm proud that I don't because I want you to work on that if you're still struggling with that. I do remember you used to do that a whole lot, but
Really?
I don't
I'm
see that as
sorry.
much. I don't see that as much out of you now.
Mm-mm.
So I feel like you've grown in that area.
Yeah. I'll just say, deal with it. No, I'm kidding. Okay, number four, unclear sense of self. Again, this is a quote from someone who experienced lack of emotional support. I don't really know who I am or what I truly think. Virtually everything I say seems to me to be a lie that I've just fabricated for that particular situation. I have real problems trying to identify with what do I actually feel. And the reason is because the child is unable to express themselves when they're young, and so they can't figure out what their interests are. Their parents tell them what they should be focused on, what they should like, what they don't like. They're not allowed to figure it out for themselves, and that can cause low self-esteem. I have known people who can morph into the people around them. Like I'll be with them one set of friends, they're one way, another set of friends. I'm like, who's this person? You've you've turned into you do like that? I didn't know you like that, because they want to be liked so much that they'll agree with.
Anything.
Yeah,
Ooh, that is a dangerous place to be.
yeah. I mean, you're miserable. And I went through that when I was younger, like a teenager around older people. I got into a relationship with an older person and I didn't have the experience they had. So I think, well, that must be right because they think that, although it doesn't sound right to me, or I don't know what I like. So yeah, if you think I should like that, I'll like that. So it's an icky place to be.
Well, it's a very impressionable age.
Yeah.
As kids, we don't have it figured out. Heck, as adults, we don't have it figured out. How in the world are we expecting our kids to?
Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of have to step back and let your child figure out what they like and what they don't like.
Hmm.
Fear of conflict. I can't stand conflict. Loud, sudden noises, shouting or screaming or aggression in any form. It triggers my fight or flight instantly. Fear of conflict is also common in people who faced emotional abuse as children. Why? Simply because their brain associates conflict with danger. They know if daddy comes home and he's mad and banging things, it could get bad. It's not going to be, we're going to have this conversation and act rational and have no fear of him. He's upset and that's fine, but it turns into something dangerous for these people growing
Yes.
up. So they're afraid that that'll happen again. So they try to avoid any conflict in any
Shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, right. At any cost. I was trying to think of the worst I think of. Even when they deny their own needs by doing that. I've kind of done that before in my life. Not anymore. And I think all of us want peace, so you kind of avoid conflict. We talked about last week's Giggles and Gratitudes being a peacemaker or a peacekeeper, and I think a lot of us are peacekeepers.
Yes.
Being hard on yourself. I'm in a constant state of blame no matter who is at fault. I hate going out in public or even going to work because I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong and everybody will notice. I'm afraid of making a mistake because I'll beat myself up for it for the rest of the day.
Oh,
That's because their parents may have emotionally beat them up when they made a mistake. Weren't allowed the space to screw up. Have you ever experienced that?
but with my dad, yeah, he was loving, but he was strict, and it was his way or the highway.
Okay. Yep. I think we all go through that. Number seven, trust issues, attachment issues, trust issues. I'm paranoid that everyone will leave me. Uh, Emotionally abused children have difficulty trusting others as adults. They feel like it's not safe to trust others because of the way they were treated in the past. Okay, I want to quickly go through the rest of these so we can move on. Emotional unavailability. You never can really share emotion with your partner because you are not shown emotion. So relationships generally don't last if you can't be vulnerable with your partner, I think. Then you repeat the cycle with your children when you raise them. You're not able to develop coping skills because of the way you were raised or what you experienced when you were younger. So you numb the pain. Like you said, you numb it because you just can't cope with it.
Right.
This is a big one, I think. Difficulty accepting love. And the last one is difficulty accepting joy.
Mhm.
I have
Yes.
trouble accepting any kind of love because growing up, it was always given with strings attached or used as a tool for manipulation. I don't trust others have the capacity to love me unconditionally, so I hide myself, never allowing me to experience love or joy. I think some people don't feel worthy of being loved. They don't feel lovable.
Well, and when their parents don't give emotional support, it kind of reinforces that.
And they may even actually come out and tell them,
Hmm.
I wish I never had you. There's nothing, I don't love, there's nothing lovable about you, or how could that person love you? And sometimes that's a fear of you leaving them for someone else, I think, too. They sabotage your relationships.
And my heart breaks for every single person that has ever heard that in your life.
Mm,
You can move past that. God is way bigger than that, and He can rescue you from any chains that hold you down.
right. So emotional abuse during childhood can have these long-lasting effects and impacts on your life and influencing the way you think, feel, and interact with others. Issues related to trust and conflict, regulating emotions, and accepting love can be the result of experiences one had during childhood. The most important thing is to understand the impact and work towards the healing. It's not probably not going to go away if you don't work, whether it be through prayer or counseling or both.
Right?
This can help you unlearn those negative behaviors. And it may took a lot of years for you to get that way. It may take some time for you to
That's
heal
right.
those things. Yeah.
Won't happen tomorrow.
Yeah. And maybe hearing these things pointed out and maybe going back and reading this article. And, like I say, I hate to blame parents for everything. Parents are just people. And of course, there are atrocious ones. But I think the majority do the best they can. And I mean, they're just going through life the first time too. I heard that quote the other day. Your parents are going through life the first time, just like you. So it's not
That's
like they've
right.
been through it already and know what to do. So
And can I just throw this in, Dina?
sure.
I'm thinking on the level, this is not children. This is, say we have a emotionally supported adult that gets into a marriage that is emotionally sterile. I was in that for 11 years and I came out a different person than I walked down the aisle being
Wow.
because I was beat up, told I wasn't, my body wasn't good enough. My face was pretty, but your body's not good enough. There was always something. I was never good enough, and it was always my fault. And I had emotional issues as a result of that marriage. So
Wow.
it doesn't have to be just during childhood. You can experience that as an adult and recognize the difference because I was not that person going into that marriage.
Wow. Wow. So he deprogrammed everything your parents taught you. Sounds
Yes,
like everything you knew
yes,
about yourself. And it's pointless now because that's over, but he was doing all that so you wouldn't feel confident enough to ever leave him or
right. Well, usually the person that acts that way, they have their own issues. And you have
True.
to give, we all have to give grace to each other, but it doesn't mean you have to stay in a situation where you are emotionally in bondage and you
Right.
don't and you don't feel joy. If you do not feel joy in your life, look around. Something needs to change.
Right. Right. I'm so glad you got out of that and you have a good one
Amen,
now.
sister.
'Cause this is a totally different subject. That was heavy, that one. So I'm gonna name these foods, and I'm gonna put food in quotes, and you tell me whether or not love. You maybe say love, yeah, or I eat it, but no big deal. I guess how passionate you are about these things.
Okay.
Number one, Doritos.
Love.
Just the regular kind, or you like the ranch or
The regular. I like the original.
original? Oreos,
Oh, yes.
Pringles,
Yes. You're making me hungry.
Coca-Cola.
Not so much. It's too sweet.
Oh, okay. Cheetos,
Oh yeah, whole bag.
the crunchy or the puffy?
The I like them both.
Okay.
I prefer the crunchy.
Okay. Frosted Flakes,
Oh yeah, I grew up on those. Tony the
Nutella.
Tiger. Uh,
Great.
yeah, I do like that.
Okay. What all these food have in common, and again, food, quote, food, they were engineered in a lab and they were engineered to be addictive.
Yeah,
Doritos, it says no single flavor dominates, so your brain never gets satisfied and it keeps eating. There's such a blend of flavors competing with each other. Your brain can't identify what you're eating, so you keep thinking, "What is this?" And what is that? Did you realize that when you're eating Doritos?
no, I didn't, but I'm gonna eat Doritos different from now on. Thank you, Dena.
But I mean, I love them too, and I don't care what they are. I just like the way they taste. Oreos. The sugar to fat ratio triggers the same brain pathway as cocaine.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Now, how many Oreos do you eat in a sitting generally?
Oh, 3 or 4.
Do you dip them in milk?
No, I
Do
like
you,
the crunchiness of it.
do you like to bite the chocolate and the cream together, or do you take them apart?
Oh, I bite it together. I bite it in half.
Interesting. That's psychotic.
What does that tell about me?
You're psychotic.
I'm psychotic.
Just
You're just
kidding.
now figuring that out
I
because
like
I
to
eat
dip mine till they.
Oreos.
Okay. Pringles, the saddle shape of a Pringle, as opposed to the variety of shapes of other chips, fits into your tongue perfectly.
Perfectly every time. Yes.
That's engineered to make it feel like it was meant to happen, meant to be. I feel like people either love Pringles or they hate Pringles because they're
I've never
different.
heard of anybody that didn't like Pringles.
Of course, Coca-Cola and I guess it would be any soft drink, the phosphoric acid masks the sweetness. So you don't gag, you don't recognize. Of course, you did. You said it was too sweet. There's 39 grams of sugar in I guess a 16 ounce,
Serving. Yeah.
yeah, serving, yeah, whatever serving. So the
Probably
phosphoric
an eight
acid
ounce
tones it
can.
down. Do what?
That's probably more like an 8 ounce can,
Ooh,
not
okay.
16.
You're probably right. Cheetos, okay, they're talking about the puffy ones. They dissolve on contact, so your brain keeps thinking that you ate nothing and it keeps reaching and reaching. That would be the
Oh
puffy
my
one.
goodness.
Mm.
Okay.
Frosted Flakes dissolves fast, so your brain never registers fullness. So you're getting the calories and the sugar, but it's not filling up that little space that, the little feathers in your tummy come together to make you tummy growl, make you feel hungry. Those little feathers never touch, so you just keep shoving down those flakes and they keep melting. So evil,
Okay.
diabolical. Nutella. I mean, what could be wrong with Nutella?
Uh-huh.
Sugar to fat ratio is specifically calibrated for maximum craving. The sugar to fat. None of this is accidental. Food scientists spend decades perfecting the formula to keep you buying more. I would say moderation.
Absolutely.
Life is short. Those foods are fun, but don't let them be your main diet. And like you say, 4 Oreos occasionally. I say go for it. I'm gonna be your bad influence and say just don't eat a whole bag of something.
Mm.
And
I
know that
used
you're
to do
being
that
manipulated. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I used to do that a long time ago, but I broke that habit. So
Yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah. If I
I'm
buy a bag,
free from that.
yeah, I'm gonna eat them. And I'll think I'm just gonna eat a few, but at the end of the day, they'll be gone. If I buy something like that.
Well, you just have to make yourself a rule that in the grocery store, you're aware of that aisle, but you refuse to go down it. That I will never go down the cookie aisle. I'm serious, people, when I say my weight, was a real issue for me for a long time. And eating because of nothing happened until I got married and didn't have that emotional support that I had always had in my life. So, foods are addictive and they can be a huge problem. So, this really hits home for me. And if any of the listeners have recognize this in your life, do your best to cut down, like Dina said, and then just make a rule that you don't even go down that aisle. It's Dan that gets the stuff, and there's an Oreo in there. I'm gonna eat at least one or two, but I
Yeah.
I try to stop at that, which is, in my opinion, moderation, as you said.
Mhm. But it's kind of like, if it's addictive, it's just like alcohol or drugs. And you shouldn't think I'm such a weak person. Know that those foods are engineered to get you like that. As you're eating them, recognize that you're being manipulated. Uh, it's not your failure. It's a diabolical plan to keep
Yeah,
getting your money. It really is.
yeah.
And then so
Now
if you do with that, do
let
what?
me ask you, Dina. What
Okay.
what about when I'm eating a McDonald's French fry?
Well, they weren't on the list, but I know that they fry McDonald's French fries like in meat. They put meat sauce in the
Oh,
fries, so
they're just good.
they really are. We're being a terrible influence. I think they ought to make a safe where you put a junk safe, and it opens up and just gives you like 4 cookies, and it won't open up again until the next day.
There you go. That's an idea. You ought to patent that.
Yeah, the snack safe. There you go. Don't anybody steal that. That's my name. So let's keep that in mind while you're eating those things. But I feel like for me, if I ban something out of my life, then I'm going to want it more if I ban it.
Mhm. Yes, agreed.
So that's just what works for me and doesn't work for me. So, okay. And finally, this is one of my favorite topics, and that is doggies.
Yay.
We don't have much time left here, but uh, do you feel like, and I know you've had a lot of animals in your life, do you feel like if your dog got lost and you didn't see it for many years, that it would remember you when you saw it?
Yes,
It would
I
know it.
absolutely believe that.
Okay. We may be right. According to weatherforecastnow.com, oddly enough, it says dog do remember. How long do dogs remember you is the title. Science has long confirmed what dog owners already suspected, like Diana did. Your dog knows you, misses you, and remembers
Mhm.
you.
Yes, you have imprinted on their life, and they're not going to forget that.
I love that. What's now becoming clear, thanks to a growing body of animal cognition research, is exactly how long that memory lasts and what drives it. There's two very different types of memories. Dogs, like humans, operate with more than one type of memory, short-term memory and long-term memory. So studies show that a dog's short-term memory recall fades in roughly 2 minutes, like they lose a toy. and can't remember where it was 2 minutes later. My dog's pretty good about remembering where he puts things.
That
Pretty
sounds like me, Dena.
good. Well, I have a dog memory. But the long-term memory is a different story. This is where dogs store things that matter the most: the scent of a familiar person, the sound of a trusted voice, and the visual cue of a face that they associate with safety and comfort. So they do know your face. Now, I will say when I'm pet sitting for you and I come in there, Kitty thinks I'm you at first. You know, because we both have long dark hair,
Yep.
about the same height. I walk in and he usually comes running from upstairs and going down those stairs, and he sees me and gets excited, and then he looks me in the face and realizes that's not my mom, and kind of walks off a little bit and acts kind of shy. And I think that is so smart that they can actually, and I've experienced that as a previous pet sitter with cats more than dogs. They'll study my face and realize, no, I'm not, you're not my mama, and then bite me. Just kidding. But you see the videos of animals being reunited with their owners after they've been lost for a long time. Like they go to the shelter to pick them up and they come running out and just leap on you. And like military people who have been out of the house for a year or more.
Yes, that just does my heart good.
I know
Good,
I could
good,
watch those.
good.
Yeah, those videos, I could watch them all day. So dogs process the world primary through their nose. So I don't smell like you. Their olfactory system is estimated to be between 10,000 and 100,000 more sensitive than a human's. So that's how they retrieve that memory. Also, voices. If they hear a voice, they could do it. So you could wear a. I've seen. Shoot, we're running out of time. I've seen videos where somebody will walk by their dog. They'll have somebody else walking their dog, like in a crowded sidewalk, and they'll walk by to see if the dog recognizes them. And they don't necessarily
Mhm.
recognize them, but then they smell when they walk by, and they'll turn around and go running after them. So I wonder
Love
what I
that.
smell. Have you ever wondered what you smell like? I wonder.
Well, they do sniff the ground and smell a whole lot, so that kind of is indicative of their, main primary sensory.
Yeah. And they also recognize your voice. It's a really interesting article. And again, I'll include a link. I think dogs also remember if you're mean to them,
Of
abusive of
course.
them. They'll
Yes,
and associate, like say a male was abusive towards them, they won't like a male's voice or
correct.
smell testosterone, maybe. But anyway, dogs are amazing. That's my final thing.
Okay.
Well, we're officially out of time. So, Diane, I always like for you to end the episode with your final thoughts, recap, whatever you'd like to leave our audience with. We love you guys.
So let's give a synopsis of what we went over. Emotional scars are real, no matter where they have come from. Please seek counseling, talk to a friend, and talk to God. He's always there. And in food, we have to recognize that these things were made to make us addicted to that. So, all things in moderation. And then, as far as the dogs, of course, they're going to remember you. They love you. They were sent to you for a purpose, and they remember that too. So, take all these little pearls of wisdom with you, and you guys go have an awesome day. We love you. Bye bye.